Welcome to Chessington World of Adventures. In this video I'm going to share a bunch of hints and tips to make sure you get the most from your next visit. Let's get started. First tip, and this is probably pretty obvious, but make sure you book your tickets in advance, because if you buy them on the day, you'll pay a lot more money. Actually, speaking of that, depending on what else you're doing, so we've done Legoland yesterday, Chessington today, Thorpe tomorrow. It actually turned out cheaper for my partner to buy the cheapest annual pass rather than buying individual tickets. So buy in advance, and if you're doing multiple attractions, get the season pass. Now, one thing this Merlin attraction still has, because some of them seem to have got rid of it, and it's not applicable today because I've got beautiful weather. If you're here though and the weather is not the best, as in it's pouring with rain and you can't get on very much, they do still offer the rainy guarantee. As I said, some of the other Merlin attractions have been removing that, so I'm not sure how much longer that'll last. Maybe Chessington will keep it, maybe they'll get rid of it, who knows. But right now, at the time of recording, they still have it. Now, the park does have a birthday board, so if you're bringing a young child here, or even if you're an adult and you just want to celebrate your own birthday, there's a form you fill out on the website, and then your birthday will be up for everybody to see. As you'd expect nowadays, the preferred mechanism for payment is contactless. Obviously everything is contactless, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that kind of good stuff. As you can see behind me, they do have ATMs. They will charge you £2 for the pleasure of taking your own money out of the bank, which I always find quite ridiculous. So if you are somebody who still likes to use cash, bring it with you, because you'll get ripped off even more if you get it here. Now, as you'd expect with these parks nowadays, especially if you're not familiar with them, you're probably going to be on your phone quite a lot, checking out the app, all that kind of good stuff. If you've got a phone that maybe doesn't last very well, I'd suggest bringing your own battery with you, power bank, but they do have them, as you can see. It says from £1. I don't know how long that gets you, but you rent the charger, you give it back, you pay for what you use, standard system. So they have them around the park if you need them. Now, when it comes to staying hydrated in a park, that can get quite expensive quite quickly. They do have water refill stations that are free, obviously, if you bring your own bottle, and it's another park that has the Coke freestyle. So if you are going to buy drinks, you can buy that cup and then just get unlimited refills, and you can then bring that cup back another day for a small charge, reactivate it and use it again. Or probably what I'll do is I'll just buy a bottle of juice every time and I'll just spend more money than I need to. Now, when it comes to lunchtime, this may sound really obvious, but try and avoid eating at typical times. Things will be busier during the kind of 12 to 1 period. So either have an early lunch or a late lunch if you don't want to stand in the queues. If you're just buying a snack, probably okay, but certainly if you want to go for one of the sit-down restaurants, strongly recommend you avoid peak period, as I say, an early lunch or a late lunch, or you may just have to wait. Now, I'm quite lucky because today's not too busy. There's a few school trips, but generally queue times are pretty manageable. If, however, you're here in the summer, or for whatever reason you're here on a busy day, they do have a fast track system. They call it reserve and ride. There's different variants of it, go up in price, basically depends how much you want to cut the queue. I think one of them, the cheapest one, is basically like, whatever the queue time is, that's what you're waiting. Then there's like 50% of the queue time, 90% of the queue time. And they do also have a single shot. So if there's just that one ride that you can't get on, you can pay some money. And then you can skip the queue and do just that one ride. So obviously expensive and nobody likes doing that. But if for whatever reason, as I say, you've got a bad day and it's really busy, you can still get on stuff if you're prepared to pay. Now, this one might sound really obvious, but some parks have pretty poor apps. The Chessington app, however, is pretty good. So if it's not a park you're familiar with, it's got all the stuff you'd expect. It's got your maps, it's got your food, it's got your tickets, it's got your information, it's got everything you would need, and it's just a nice app to use. So certainly if you're not familiar with the park, make sure you install that. They also have Wi-Fi around the park, so but a few times I've had no signal, but I can still use the app because there's free Wi-Fi. So when I was in Legoland yesterday, the park opened a little bit early, like 15, 20, 25 minutes before the park actually opens, to let you in and get on the rides. They do that here as well, but only if you are a hotel guest. So if you're staying on site, you get in half an hour early, take advantage of it. But if you're not staying on site, you'll get in at 10 o'clock like everybody else. And I know some people, myself included, come here specifically for certain attractions. Like I came here because of Mandrill Mayhem, but there's a clue in the name, as well as all the attractions. Funnily enough, this place has a zoo. It's also got a sea life centre, so if you're here on a quieter day, you'll probably get around everything. If you're here on a busier day, you might need a second day if you want to do all of it. So yeah, there's lots to do, and as I say, if it's busy, you're going to need that second day. Now the park offers a bunch of VIP experiences, both in the theme park and also in the zoo. So in the theme park you've got behind the scenes for Vampire, you've also got walk the lift hill off Tiger Rock. In terms of the animals, you can do the meerkats, tigers, giraffe feeding, penguin encounter, and many, many more. Check out the website, see what's available, and yeah, add something special to your next trip. On the busier days, the park does offer a parent swap. Now you get a traditional version that you'd expect, where you've got two adults that want to do a ride and a kid who can't or won't. Obviously then one of you goes on, one stays with the kid, and then you swap around. When I was in Legoland yesterday, there was the opposite, which was you've got a couple of kids who need an adult and you're outnumbered basically. I don't know if they do that version here, but it's obviously not something that's running all the time. So basically, if you have a situation where you need to do a rider swap, just speak to the staff and ask them. And I'm sure where possible they will be very accommodating. If you look on the website, it says that they have no single rider queues. There's a single rider queue. I'm guessing this is the only ride, it's the only one I've seen it on, and it is the newest. But the website says they don't have one, and they do. So if it's busy and you're doing Mandrill Mayhem, they have single rider. Today, when it's not busy, I've seen it actually take longer to do single rider. So just bear that in mind. Also, if you do Mandrill Mayhem and you ask for or get allocated row 7, which is the backward seats, there's no photo. So if you want the ride photo, there isn't one on row 7. Bear that in mind. So another thing to think about with the tickets, it's quite common that there is kind of like buy one get one free or half price tickets through things like cereal and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's any at the time of recording, but make sure you have a quick Google. If you are buying tickets, it can obviously save you a chunk of change if you're bringing a whole family. There you go guys, that is the end of my hints and tips for your next visit to Chessington. Hopefully this has been useful. Some of them may seem obvious, I know, but it's worth repeating them in case people don't realise. If there's other tips that I've not shared that you would like to share with other people, please do put them in the comments, it'd be much appreciated. If you have found this useful though, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. I give tips videos for various parks as I visit them. So, I've been Chris, you have been watching Coaster Dad, and I shall see you in the next one. Adios!